Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Disc Golf Examiner. Today we have something a little special. We have the back nine of our special Seton Hill University coverage. Of course, this course has not been put in yet, but it's sort of a course preview for the first course in Westmoreland County that is 18 holes. So definitely a big, exciting thing. I'm your host, Brian Keegan. Joining me today is Andrew Greenslade, who is one of the other course designers for the course, as well as a track coach at Seton Hill. Andrew, how's it going?
It's going great, Brian. Really excited to be putting in a course on this campus that I've been looking at for the last 5 years as I've been driving up and down that hill.
I know, right? Like it's been screaming it for so long. Every time I drive by, I look, I say, hey, we got to put a disc golf course there. I'm just so glad Hunter Miller got it through with the board there at Seton Hill to be able to have the course there. So definitely huge thank you to them. We are super excited to have disc golf in Westmoreland County and a challenging course at that.
Yeah, this is a tough, a lot of do or die par threes, but you can see here starting on hole 10 with our back nine, a nice downhill shot, only 231 feet, but we have an OB creek just short of the basket. We intentionally tried to place the basket so that creek sits right at circle's edge. For those of you that aren't familiar with what the circle is, there's a 33-foot or 10-meter circle around the basket that if you are inside, you cannot follow through. It's much like shooting a foul shot in basketball. So we tried to put that creek right at circle's edge so you can run it deep or try and park it, but that creek plays as OB, and the trees on either side of that gap definitely collect discs, as you're seeing already, and can definitely funnel them down into the creek for an OB stroke. So here we have Mitch, one of the better putter throwers I know.
Oh, wow.
Doing exactly that. Trying to be the first ace on the Seton Hill course.
That's your instinct.
Yeah, Tom lining up what I call the snake-a-hawk, since you have Tom throwing a tomahawk and the perfect skip and park.
Wow. Two really great runs at it already.
Absolutely. And I guess I'm going to get starstruck here because I'm going to follow that up with the exact kind of shank I was talking about. Right into the trees, and then it's going to filter into that OB creek. So I'm going to have to get in there and not only be throwing three, but throwing three from a very obstructed lie.
And Hunter doing a little course maintenance there, widening the fairway for everybody else. And Chris, he's going to be in some rough.
The roughest of rough.
Yeah.
Yep. This course hasn't had a chance. Oh, Vinny. Doing more Vinny things. So you can see where I've gotten into, and like I was saying, this course being just a concept, the rough is extremely rough. I'm lining up a scuba from my lie. I was OB in the creek, so I'm on the far side of the creek trying to just get a scuba there. One tree branch, I was definitely going in if I hadn't caught that branch. I want to say Nate was trying to throw that in, so didn't do that overly successfully.
Oh, boy, that's dangerous. You know, when you get a kick out towards the creek.
Oh, Nate.
Yeah, absolutely. That is if you play the safe side, which is the throw over the basket deep, then you do bring in that comeback putt where if you miss, you could easily fly right into that creek and end up taking an OB stroke.
And Hunter grabbing a two. Look at that.
From downtown.
Ooh.
And Chris is getting pretty close here. He fought his way out of the rough pretty effectively, which is never the easiest thing to do when you're in bramble and thorns.
So hole 11 is a par 4. It is 509 feet. It plays pretty dead straight. You have some rough on the right-hand side with some tall trees. And straight ahead of you, just on the other end here, is some more rough that kind of comes out, and the basket's on the other side of
Yeah,
the trees.
those trees actually are growing up around a little drainage ditch that we plan to play as an out of bounds. So your second shot is going to have to get around those trees. If you come up short, you can find yourself taking an OB stroke. The other challenge of this green is the trees on the right side still have that very thick rough there. So if you saw off your second shot and you end up in that rough, it almost becomes a natural OB. Now you can see these guys are keeping their shots wide, trying to stay away from that OB on the right.
Oh, and Vinny with a huge hyzer. Well, that's flipped up to flat. It's real low, too.
Yeah, I think he was trying to do something spectacular there. Nate's got this turned, and we're going to get to see the dangers of this hole. I'm throwing my Pro Destroyer.
I mean, you definitely do want to be out more that direction in order to approach, I think.
Absolutely. The farther left you are, the more of a pitch forehand, or for Vinny, a backhand hyzer it's going to be. You can see Mitch playing it way out to the left there.
No. Oh.
And this is what many of us, as we developed our disc golf games, experienced early on in our careers.
Of course, Chris there is a newer player, and we would just, we brought him in to kind of like show what newer players will be dealing with out on the course, since this will be we'll have a lot of beginners that'll play this course as well.
Absolutely. And Chris was great. Just very open to suggestions, was, looking at us, having a bunch of experienced players around him. He was definitely taking in all the advice that was being given to him. And you could see it as the day went along, his game improving just in a lot of fundamental ways.
Oh, probably pretty good.
See Mitch there with the big forehand approach. Hunter's forehand approach, I believe, with his zone.
I think I was so struck by, the Seton Hill University above you guys that I just didn't follow your disc there.
Yeah, but that's one of the beauties of this course, is the actual beauty of it. Playing on the hillside, it's basically split into two loops, a 12-hole loop that plays on the front of campus, and then a 6-hole loop that goes up the hill on the back. And as we saw in the first video, there's the scenery of downtown Greensburg when you're playing that front loop is beautiful. And then when we get up on the back loop, you're going to see some other pulled back shots of downtown Greensburg and the beautiful Seton Hill campus that you're up above when you're up on all these hills. Nate doing his best to get a highlight reel putt there.
Chris will have a good chance for a putt there too.
I'm coming back at the basket. I was about 40 feet deep with my thumber.
For your birdie. Oh, right off the flag. Oh, Hunter.
Hunter was trying to keep that big putt energy going that he had from hole 10. And Tom's fighting his way out of the rough.
Come on, Vinny. Vinny putt. Yeah, Vinny actually won our putting competition last year. Actually, I believe he was second place in the putting competition last year. Second only to Jay Gary Drop Joe.
Yeah, and if you're losing putting competitions to Jay Gary, that's nothing to feel bad about.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to hole 12. It's a par 4. It's 448 feet. I absolutely love this hole. It plays along the farmland here and up into the brush. And there's a nice little gap in here where you can get to the basket. So it's really two really great shots to get there, I think.
Yeah, the key to this first shot is all placement. It's far enough, and eventually I think we'll be marking that garden as OB to try and keep players from risking going into it. But there are two paths technically back to the pin, but this tee shot's all about placement, because if you're too deep, as we just saw Vinny do there, that woods becomes very thick very fast, and it becomes hard to find your way through this tunnel. I'm just throwing a big hyzer trying to get to the entrance of that tunnel, which I was pretty close. Mitch is going with the flex route and throwing it perfectly.
Yeah, great distance.
Right to the mouth of that tunnel, which is hard to see from this back camera, but that tunnel is just to the left of our catch cam, or to the right of where Nate's disc is finding the woods.
That is so far.
Yeah. Tom's throwing the big tomahawk up there just to play for placement.
Yeah. And we'll see what Hunter looks like. He's lining up one of his infamous sidearm smashes here.
Got big flex.
Yeah, big flex. Wow.
Now you can kind of see where that second path comes out, but it does not offer nearly as direct of a route to the basket. Tom's trying the over-the-top play. A personal favorite of mine.
Yeah, it is. It is really great. But I mean, if I could get down to this gap, I feel like I could get it up to the basket real nice and easy. Like this here, great skip.
Just a little far. I had myself in a good position, too close to go over the top, so I tried to go with a skip shot with a flat top Firebird, but just a little deep, didn't get the skip up the hill. And where we have that pin sitting is right on the Hunter going for the forehand roller here. Doesn't quite get at the turn, but where we have that pin sitting is just up onto a hill left of the gap, so it makes that skip shot tricky just because you're skipping up the hill to the pin. It does bring some rolled away potential in. Chris learning how to play smart golf here.
Yeah. And I think Vinny and Nate are playing Plinko through the trees on the other side. But Mitch is going to have a great roll up to the basket.
Yeah, that was a perfect forehand roller.
And that was Nate. Vinny. Almost through all the trees.
Hunter. Tom with his mortar.
Oh.
I think he was trying to throw that in.
I think he was trying to throw it at me. Yeah. Oh, and Chris with a huge putt. That's probably a 60-footer there.
Oh, yeah. The crowd erupted when he hit that one. That was a great shot from him.
Yeah, it's great to see a newbie have a great shot like that.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a position to get big putted.
Ooh.
Yeah, good layup.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Right in the heart of the chains there for Nate. And Vinny.
Vinny just can't seem to quite get a clean look on this hole, but good putt.
Yeah. This is for Mitch's 3. Yeah.
Mitch with the tap in 3.
And I got to say, hopefully we can get sort of a walkway up to this next hole, because I think it'd be a really good thing to have. Hole 13 is a par 4. It is 476 feet. There's a Mando tree that you have to throw around to the right of in order to get up to the basket here.
Right. This is the start of our 6-hole back loop. So your tee shot here is just a big crush hyzer, get around those trees, and then try and fade as far up the hill as you can. The mistake to make here is trying to get too much hyzer and finding those trees, because that rough is thick. And again, it'll be an instant par at best if you catch those early vines and tree branches.
And a pretty challenging one for Vinny here, being the left-hand backhand. But he's going to play that huge Anheuser, just a little short. I think he's going to get caught up in those trees.
Yeah, he's way up in all that rough. He's going to have a very obstructed second shot. I'm throwing a destroyer. This one for me, I just want it, again, to stand up to flat, hold its line for a while, and then fade out at the end and try and get a little distance up that hill.
Tom lining up that crushing tomahawk.
The Snake-O-Hawk, playing for placement again.
And Hunter, wow, great shot.
Showing off his backhand game.
Yeah. We'll see how Chris is able to play this one. Little short. He wouldn't make the Mando tree there, so there'd probably be a a drop zone where he would throw from, I imagine.
Eventually, yeah. Now you can see how uphill this second shot becomes. The basket really, it's probably about 300 feet, but you're throwing full shots to get up to it.
And Vinny's still just at the edge of putting range there.
Yeah, I think I am too. Even though we're throwing up at this thing with a good amount of power, you're throwing coming up 40 feet short or so.
Oh, he bounced out of the back. Mitch will grab it. Of course, this is about the time where we were thinking, hey, it's getting really dark. We're going to have to cut this a little bit short. Nate grabbing a great birdie there. As we move on to hole 14, it's a par 3. It's 301 feet. So what we're going to do for the next 3 holes, we're going to show you where the tee pad is to where the basket is, and then we're going to move on to the next hole just so we can get enough light to shoot the last 2 holes here. Hole 15, par 3, 394 feet, plays across the field here.
Yeah, both of these are just big, open crushers. I actually think 14 plays longer than 300 feet, probably more in the 350 range, but you're just throwing big driver hyzers at it, trying to get there. For the beginning players, it'll be nice because there's not a lot of obstruction.
And hole 16, par 3, 288 feet.
Yeah, this one's very significantly uphill and then tucked into the right. Here's some of the views we were talking about earlier. This is from the tee pad on 17, looking at downtown Greensburg.
Love it. Of course, we have the courthouse in the middle of Greensburg is what you see often. So hole 17 is a par 5, our first par 5, I believe. It's 821 feet, plays all the way down this hill. I should say across this hill. The hill leaning from right to left here. You have a cemetery there on the right-hand side that is OB. You play through these trees, and the basket is in the field here.
Yeah, we'd actually push that pin. This is another one where the pin was placed a little short. We'd actually prefer that pin to be back a little farther. I'll give some reference to where we're looking at once we get up to the to everybody's putts. But again, we're playing this since it's manicured grass. We're playing the rough on the left side is OB, which is tough for the righty backhand because your drive is going to follow the slope of that hill towards that OB. Now, Vinny, as a lefty, has the green light to just crush this thing.
We're going to have to rename this course after Vinny with his left-hand backhand. It's like so good for him.
Yeah, I attempt to go roller here, thinking it was a safe play, and I was just not correct.
Oh, no, and Nate did not want to do that at all.
No, not quite sure what he was trying to line up at this point.
Oh my God.
And Tom even a little right with his release.
Tom was talking about prior to the shot how he doesn't throw backhand rollers, and then came out and threw a backhand roller. Meanwhile, Mitch is just going to throw a very nice, smooth turning, pure backhand shot the way it should be done. There's Hunter's crushing forehand. So now we're getting to Nate and I in our OB spots.
When we're narrating this later, I'll be like, this is how you don't play disc golf, you know? And then it's me That's gonna cut.
Of course, that's an instant crush there by Nate.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get a little flex on that and push those trees. The intricacies of this approach shot are the fact, again, we want that basket to be a little farther back than where it is right now. But you have two small trees right in the front that work as an obstruction for any straight shots. We want to push the pin back so that all the big trees there on the right kind of discourage any hyzer shots, hyzer approaches over the cemetery. And then you have all the rough on the left side that also you can get over that rough, but it definitely still would take a big high hyzer shot. So you see a lot of these guys playing up to the trees. Mitch done another nice little flex here. And just getting a little bit of that slope. Now this is Vinny's drive. When we were imagining this hole, we didn't think anybody would be getting that far off the tee.
What?
And that's parked. So Vinny's going to have a look at an eagle.
Tree.
Oh, and if Nate didn't have that tree there.
Yeah, Nate. It was great of Nate to show off some of our guardian trees and exactly why we wanted to bring them into play. I just saw it off a zone here, so I'm going to be 40 feet left.
And Tom, his sidearm's going to play up to the basket. That's going to be a good putt for him. Hunter displaying a jump putt there and a great run at it.
Absolutely.
Nate jump punting as well. Oh, and just half an inch.
Mitch for his eagle. Oh. And you can see, not in this shot, but as my putt comes up here, you can sort of see where the leaf line ends up behind all the players. That's close to where we'd actually like the basket to be. So probably another 50 to 70 feet of distance, which I think would make this much a truer par 5. Going into this last hole.
The last hole is hole 18. It's a par 3. It's 346 feet. Plays down the hill and to the right inside of these trees here. Of course, the basket showing off the beautiful city of Greensburg behind it as well. I really like the placement of this one.
It's a great basket placement. It's a technical shot because you're throwing downhill, but there's trees hanging over. So most people, if they can't take the inhuman route like this over the top, you're playing some kind of forehand that you're trying to get to hold really straight. So I'm going to throw a Firebird here, try and get to go real straight, and then get a skip at the end up towards that basket. And I just saw it off a touch into that rough, and that rough is just very thick. Even just being a couple feet in like I am, it's going to bring bogey into play quickly.
Oh, and Hunter's playing a great shot there.
Yeah, Hunter played the wide line that is there, but it's very tight, to say the least, because you have to get it around that second tree down there on the right without without catching that first tree, as Mitch perfectly demonstrated for us what can happen when you try and take that wide route.
Nate's going to be a little shy as well, but he's going to get a little further through.
Yeah, he was trying to follow my line. I'm going to try my over-the-top thumber line here. The shot won't count for our scores, but it was more for the sake of experimenting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you're getting the bad roll, though.
Yeah, it was a really good shot until it hit the ground.
Oh, wait, don't hit Vinny. He's got the GoPro.
So here's Mitch getting ready to throw up. As you can see, two of our experienced players up there with their backs turned. For any of you new players that are just learning the game, great rule to follow is don't walk in front of anybody who's throwing, especially with your back turned. I'm going to try a little thumber to get through here and get a look. And I almost got there. I'll have a putt at it, but it's pretty obstructed.
Yeah, you're close.
Vinny's going to have
You're then putting.
a pretty good run at it. Unfortunately, going to catch a branch.
There's a lot. This rough has a lot of vines that have grown up into the trees, and that just adds a whole element of difficulty if you are off the fairway, because you're navigating all this spider web of vines that are hanging down everywhere.
And Nate will have a putt there.
Hunter with probably the only legitimate look at it too.
Oh, he's going to clip the right side of the basket there and get a roll away. Oh, Mitch. And as you can see, it is getting darker out.
Yeah, it was significantly darker than actually. I think the camera makes it seem lighter than it was at this point.
Mm-hmm. And Tom with a good finish there. Andrew, see if he can par out. Oh.
No, I cannot.
Well, it was a good effort.
Yeah, so getting the walk off the first time playing the whole course with a bogey, but
All right.
Hunter with a little bit of view of downtown there, Cathedral back behind him, making his final putt for the day.
yeah, he'll have to screenshot that one. That's for the Instagram profile picture.
Yeah. So we had a ton of fun being out there at Seton Hill. I am excited because this is the first 18-hole disc golf course in the county, and we're sort of in a dead zone here. So as far as disc golf goes, we have to drive an hour to any of the courses plus, and to have a course here in Greensburg means so much, I think, to our community. We're really excited to be a part of this project and to see it going forward in the future here.
Absolutely. It's a chance for us to bring an 18-hole course to Westmoreland County, along with the opportunity to build in this 9-hole learn the play course up here in this upper field that can help grow the sport while also providing opportunities for students to get out and be outside, engage in physical activity, something that's social, and by being outdoors right now, especially safe or safer than indoor activity at the moment during this current pandemic. So this is a project that I'm extremely excited to keep working towards as we develop this course and break it in and work with the other Seton Hill facilities and getting the fairways mowed and tee pads and all the other things that have to go into getting this course designed and broken into the point where I think it has the potential to be a gem out here in Westmoreland County.
That's going to do it for our coverage of the Seton Hill University course that will be going in hopefully soon.
Yeah, there's currently no time tape. There's no time frame at the moment, so everybody just be patient, but we're working diligently. This is a great next step for us to be able to show administration exactly what it will look like on the course and how it fits into the landscape of Seton Hill's campus.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear your feedback too, so go ahead and leave us a comment in the section below. We always love hearing from you. Share it, let people know that this is happening, and maybe we'll get more disc golf and more colleges across the United States. It'd be fantastic. So that's going to do it for us. So until next time, guys, keep banging those chains.